Boomchenka! Hey everyone. Sorry about that. It's the Flying Pig here on Flying Pig United. How's it going? Bit of an MMA update video for you. Haven't done one for a while, but just wanted to give you my reaction and thoughts on the news that has just been announced today by the UFC, which is Stephen Wonderboy Thompson versus Darren Till, Liverpool's own Darren Till, Britain's favourite Scouser, Darren Till, if there is such a thing, who will be fighting Stephen Wonderboy Thompson at UFC Liverpool in May. Holy freaking shitballs! What an insane fight that is! Might just have to go to this card, you know, even though it would mean going to Liverpool, which nobody really wants to do unless you're from Liverpool, and even they probably don't like it there. I'm just kidding, of course, but yeah, you know, no, I'm not. Liverpool hosting the UFC for the first time, huge night. The only reason that's really happened is because they've got a star like Darren Till, who's potentially going to be, you know, Liverpool's version of Conor McGregor in the future. He will have to do what Conor McGregor did, though, and he will have to win against these tough opponents that get put up against him, you know, such as Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. I think Stephen Wonderboy Thompson is a ridiculously good fighter, if not for Tyron Woodley just being an all-round beast and prepared to put on a bit of a boring show if he gets the job done. You know, then he would potentially be the champion in the welterweight division. Darren Till, this is going to be his toughest test, no doubt about it. He has faced some good opponents. He's looked absolutely beastly. I mean, that victory over Donald Cowboy Cerrone was quite unbelievable, really, because Cowboy Cerrone is just a veteran. He's been there, he's done it, and he's always very consistent. His output's fantastic. He's an absolute machine in there. He just works 110%, and Darren Till made him look like a little cowboy mug, quite frankly. He completely bullied him, he destroyed him, and that you don't often see that against Cowboy Cerrone. You know, look at the fight that he had against Robbie Lawler. He may have lost that on decision, but really it could have gone either way, in my opinion. You know, he fought it out. He's a very tough guy as Cowboy, so just the fact that Darren Till went in there and demolished him the way he did goes to show you that he does have the talent. But I think Stephen Wonderboy Thompson is another step up. He's right at the top level in terms of fighters in the welterweight division in the UFC, and he will cause Darren Till some problems, no doubt about it. It's going to be a fantastic fight, I think, because you're talking about two very attractive styles here. You're talking about two very experienced strikers, two very good strikers. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, of course, karate background, that in and out style. It's quite unique in the UFC. Of course, you had Lyoto Machida back in the day who was like that. But yeah, I mean, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson at the moment, that style has caused problems for pretty much everybody apart from Tyron Woodley, and it did cause him problems. He just had to win. So Darren Till is going to have to put on a striking clinic in terms of Muay Thai and just general boxing and all that sort of stuff if he's going to have any joy against Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, because Thompson's an absolute animal when it comes to striking on the feet. You know, his kicks are insane. His karate style is very unique in terms of, you know, finding sparring partners that could replicate and mimic that. It's going to be tough for Darren Till to be able to bring that sort of caliber fighter in who has that in and out sort of point karate style. So yeah, I mean, it's a fascinating one. Fair play to Darren Till for stepping up and taking this fight, though, because there was lots of people who want to fight Darren Till, and UFC Liverpool, just the fact that it's got Darren Till on it, you know it's going to do very well domestically. And Darren Till is a rising star in the UFC, somebody that the UFC is putting a lot of momentum behind and basically trying to make the star rise as they did with Conor McGregor. You know, it seems that they are putting the media machine behind him, so that's good for him. It's good for England, of course, with Bisping retiring. We need somebody to pass the mantle over to. I think Darren Till is that man, even though he's a fucking scouser, mate, even though he talks like this, mate, and everything's like he's got almost like a fucking frog in his throat. I just spat everywhere, by the way. It's just what happens when you do a Scouse accent, you know. If you ever sat at a bus stop or something and the Scouser turns up and has a conversation with you, prepare to get your umbrella out, because he's going to cover you in saliva. So yeah, but anyway, I just wanted to make I know it's a random video. This is predominantly a football channel, but I am big into the UFC. I have done UFC videos, MMA videos in the past, so you know, there'll be more of that to come. Actually, I'd like to go to this event, go to this UFC Liverpool event and see it. Maybe if Bisping's retirement fight is on it as well, that would give me more reason to go, because I'm a huge fan of Bisping. So yeah, I think it's a great fight, isn't it? I mean, if you look at the UFC London card that's just been, it was kind of disappointing, you know, in terms of maybe not the actual fights on the night, but in terms of the names on the card, in terms of the anticipation of the event, in terms of just having a real great main event. It just wasn't there, was it? In my opinion, it wasn't. Not for UFC London, not enough domestic stars on it. Not that we've got that many of them, but yeah, it was just a little bit disappointing. But this event, this Liverpool event, I think will certainly make up for it, because Darren Till is the rising star from Britain's shores in the UFC, in MMA. He's going to go on to good things, but this is a stern test for him. I mean, fair play to him. He's got some Scouse cojones for stepping up and fighting Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, as is, you know, how many fights he had in the UFC now? A couple. It's not like he's been here seasoned and has lots of experience. He's still very young, and to step up in this magnitude and fight someone like Stephen Wonderboy Thompson just goes to show you that he has got big Scouse bollocks. So fair play to him, you know. Excited to see this one. Like I say, maybe Bisping's going to be fighting on the card as well. He's actually said recently that he is open to offers if the UFC are prepared to make him a big enough offer, a good enough offer, and give him the opponent he wants. Maybe somebody like Rashad Evans, who's also at the end of his sort of career. Then maybe you might just see Michael Bisping on that fight as well. Question is whether he would want to be a co-main to Darren Till. Probably. Bearing in mind it is his retirement fight, and that would just beef this card up even more. I would have to go to it then. But I wanted to make this video just to give you my reaction, thoughts and opinions, and also to find out what you guys think about this news. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson versus Darren Till at the Echo Arena in Liverpool in May. It's going to be insane. So let me know your thoughts and opinions. Do you think Stephen Wonderboy Thompson is too good for Darren Till at this stage in his career? You're talking about a fighter in Darren Till who has got bags of potential and is right now a really top caliber fighter. You could see that with how he dismantled Donald Cowboy Cerrone, and just his Muay Thai skills, his striking skills, his physicality, his size as well. You know, don't forget that he is a big lad. You know, he apparently walks around about 210 pounds. He said that on the MMA Hour, that he shouldn't really be fighting at welterweight, you know, because he's basically a middleweight that cuts down to a natural middleweight that cuts down to welterweight, that does make 170 pounds, but really he's a 210 pound lad when he's walking around who can cut down to 185. He cuts that extra 15 pounds and he's huge at welterweight. You're not going to get a bigger welterweight than Darren Till, really, so I think that's a huge advantage for him. I think he can do it, you know. This is his biggest test, no doubt about it. If he loses to Wonderboy, it's no disgrace, but it would maybe halt that hype train slightly. For me personally, as an Englishman, I hope he absolutely rips him a new one and puts on a really good show and dominates Stephen Wonderboy Thompson just like he did Cowboy Cerrone. But I do think Wonderboy Thompson, his style is awkward, difficult to fight against. I think he's a better fighter, so I think that is going to prove really tough for Darren Till. But anyway, get your thoughts and opinions in below. Oh, mate, so just fucking coughed and my phlegm's cut up my throat like a fucking scalper, mate. Anyway, thank you so much for getting involved with this video. If you've watched it, do us a favour, chuck a like on it. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on the Stephen Wonderboy Thompson versus Darren Till fight taking place in May in the UFC. Thanks very much for tuning in. This is the Pig on Flying Pig United. Come back later on today for a Pig and the Hen Show podcast where we may discuss this, and we will discuss all sorts of sporting news, football, boxing coming up this weekend. Andy Joshua, of course, fighting Joseph Parker. Huge fight in the heavyweight division. So we're going to be breaking that down, breaking some other stuff down later on the channel. Around about 8:30 UK time, we will be kicking that off live. So come back. Thanks so much for tuning into this video. Like, subscribe, comment. Thoughts in below in the comment section about Scouse Darren Till. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you soon. This is the Pig. Take it easy.